Hi, analysis of Nick here. For this video, I'm just talking about video game or resemblance games that resemble each other very well and very closely, super similar. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Share the video all over. A comment for feedback, and yeah, thank you guys for getting me to 150 subs recently. So hack and slash genre. This is a hack and slash bird's eye view type. If you guys are familiar with the older God of Wars, right? So God of War, 1, 2, and 3, you know that they're hack and slash heavy. Their attacks, lots of enemies, killing waves of enemies, crowd control, platforming, and that's what these games all have in common. Dante's Inferno, it mimics a lot of God of War. It's very similar to God of War. The lever is similar. Like literally, there's a lever that you pull in God of War to open like whatever. A chamber door, a massive door. This has that too as well. The same lever. There'll be platform. Certain pillars. So pillars that you gotta move because you're extremely strong in these games. You're literally like moving these 15-foot pillars, and you gotta jump onto the pillar to get onto a next platform. And yeah, so the platform is very similar. There's climbing up on walls. It's very similar. The hacking and slashing of enemies are very similar. So Dante's Inferno, it mimics a lot of God of War. Quick time events, they're very. Quick time events is in God of War 3, God of War 1, 2, 3, and especially like fighting a boss where you will finish off a boss and it's like press circle to chop off its arm, or press triangle to do this, drag it, or whatever, but the quick time events seem very similar. And as well, like the roping, there's like these rope platformings where you gotta climb onto a rope, kind of like a zip line, and you gotta kind of climb to the other side, like off like an ocean or an abyss. And yeah, like Dante's Inferno has that, God of War has that. It's, like literally, Dante's Inferno is copying like so much from God of War. I see so much of God of War in the game, and the jumping is similar, very similar. Press X to jump, and the dodging is similar type of dodging. The climbing, more in the climbing, the climb, like when you climb, there's these routes like in the map, in the environment, right? You can kind of detect that. Castlevania will have it so you can create like these ice kind of platforms, so making it easier to climb. But Dante's Inferno has it so there's these routes that you gotta climb. God of War will have these stony surfaces that you gotta climb onto the next platform or whatever. And yeah, you have that. And health and energy meters is very similar. Like, magic meters, you would have magic meters to do certain magic projectiles in Inferno, Dante's Inferno. Magic meters to do like special attacks, crowd control attacks, spear moves, energy, elemental based attacks. And there is literally like there's a soul blade in Castlevania where you basically gain back health every time you use it. So it's like this blue sword is pretty cool, and every time you use it, your character gains back health. God of War 3 has something like that where it's like a raid. No, it's like a sword, a blade of Olympus, and like when you use it, basically too, you gain back magic, right? So yeah, and literally like there's orb boxes in throughout the world. So these orb chests or whatever, they give you health, magic, mana, or stamina back. They're literally Dante's Inferno copies that same thing from God of War. The first three God of Wars has that same thing where orbs, right? So orbs for points, orbs for energy, health, whatever. So yeah, you have those as well. Castlevania is the most different between these ones because these ones there is linear. It's very linear, so it's just going from point A to point B to point C. It's just one linear line, but it works very well. These games work very well for that. Dante's Inferno, there is backtracking, so you can fast travel back to certain locations, and you can go to, but you can't upgrade. You can't gain upgrades like at any time. You gotta go back to a certain shop and get certain power ups in Castlevania. So Castlevania does have a more RPG approach to it, but literally like the attacks is similar. Like Castlevania has a blood whip. You look at vampire basically. You're Dracula. In God of War, you're a demigod, the son of a god, and Dante's Inferno. I don't even know what you are. You're like this crusader turned demigod or whatever, a guardian of God, something. But you're extremely powerful in these games, and the blood whip is like a that's like a whip, used for crowd control. God of War has the chains of Olympus. No. And the blade of exile, which is basically this thing right here, this, and it's like a crowd control, right? So it acts like a whip, where it's very very powerful, extremely powerful. And now his Inferno has something like that too, where it's like this thing right here, a sheath, I don't even know what do you call it, but let me know. But yeah, the enemies, the way how they attack, your characters attack very similar. Taking on waves of enemies, and to I move on to the next area and just grapple onto your enemies for a finishing move. There's a dodging. The dodging is very similar, and the jumping is very similar. It's almost like EA. Now I'm pretty sure this came out. Yeah, this came out after the God of Wars, the original God of Wars. So I'm pretty sure EA and Visceral copied Sony Santa Monica in how their approach to the action adventure hack and slash genre. And like I said before in the other video a week ago, we don't see hack and slash much anymore. We don't really see them much. They need to bring back that genre. Well, they're out there, I would imagine, but they need to bring back the genre and make the gaming world more unique. Man, I tell you, Dante's Inferno is. I'm having a blast out with this game. Now back to it as well. The enemies attack similar. The enemies in Castlevania, no, okay, bosses. Literally, like Dante's Inferno, at the first 2 hours, you already fought 3 bosses already, and the bosses you gotta weaken a certain point, target a weak point, use the environment against it, a sharp object, or make a debris fall down like on the boss, or stop the boss with whatever. God of War has that as well. It starts out like with a boss, Poseidon. You're literally this one. You're literally killing a Greek god within the first hour of gameplay of playing it. Castlevania as well. There's a boss fight. You're fighting that giant. I don't remember what it's called, like a giant mech or whatever. And yeah. So action packed. There's tons of action. That's the main thing. It's just non-stop action. Action keeps me invested. It just keeps me going and going and going. And a lot of these games can be played continuously. And yeah, the story is obviously a little different. I won't get too much into it. I haven't finished Dante's Inferno, whereas Castlevania and God of War and the first 2 God of Wars I did finish. So I'm assuming obviously it's a different story, but there's a similar theme in that there's a need for vengeance and bloodlust and this deeper killer instinct that your character is going through throughout the games. But yeah, again, super similar. I'm gonna do more of these videos where I talk about stealth games like Splinter Cell Blacklist, Hitman Absolution, Ghost Recon, Future Soldier, so on, Far Cry 3, or a Midnight Club game, a Need for Speed game. So let me know, do you guys have any of these games? And leave below some recommendations for like PS3, 360, PSP, PS4, PS5, so on, so on. What do you guys have any recommendations? And yeah, like, share, subscribe, guys. Share the video. Thank you.